Hi everyone, welcome back, and today I'm going to be doing a new Christian book review. So today I'm going to talk about the Premonition at Withers Farm by Jaime WRIGHT. This is a new release that just came out, I think, this past week. And let me tell you something, I have very mixed feelings about this book. There's a lot going on in this book, a lot more than I expected. So if you've read The Souls of Lost Lake, also by Jaime, kind of has that same creepiness level to it. I would probably say even more so. Honestly, I think this is her most intense book to date. So if you don't know about Jaime WRIGHT, she writes dual timeline suspense books that are quite creepy, at least for the most part. And so this one is early 1900s and modern day era. We're following present timeline Molly and Trent, and they just bought a farm near where her husband works. And then we're following back in the early 1900s, we're following Pearliette and her mother Maribeth. And so there is murder, there is possibly scary visions and supposedly ghostly encounters, but because it's a Christian book, there is a reason behind these things. So, or at least for the most part. At first, I was honestly a little leery going into this book because Jaime goes into this book writing about spiritualism and about mediums, and I was like, I don't want to get into that. But she does it in a way where, thankfully, she, of course, because she's a Christian, she sees it as bad, and she explains throughout the book that we should not be delving into these things, that we should only be following the Lord. And if she didn't, this probably would have been a DNF. I was like, girl, where are you going with this? But thankfully, she did go to that part where we should not be going into this, and there are other explanations going on, even though we're seeing that. And so I really loved the mystery of this book and the intense moments, and not so much those parts with her mother, Pearliette's mother, is delving into that world, and her daughter's like, she has no idea because her father was a Christian. Her mother is kind of going into things that she shouldn't. So Pearliette's kind of confused about that, and she was wondering, what's going on. Like, she believed in God, but then she sees her mother doing this, and she's like, what am I supposed to do now? And so, thankfully, things are things are resolved by the end of the book, and I was happy with the ending of it. And very, very creepy book, that's for sure. And I'm still trying to figure out my rating for this book. It was quite an intense ride. So, okay, let me go ahead and do trigger warnings, because I know that I like to help you all out. So if you're triggered by any of these, I would definitely skip this book. So there is mental illness in this book. There is also talk of depression and talk of miscarriages as well. So if any of those three things you're triggered by, go ahead and skip this book. So thankfully I thank the Lord that nothing triggers me too much going into books. So it helps me to help you guys and let you know if there's anything triggering in these books. So I wanted to let you know. Modern timeline, Molly and her husband Trent are living in this house, and they find a body on their ranch, which kind of connects to a couple of murders that happened back in the early 1900s. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. Both her and her husband's family are connected in some way, and so it was all kind of really interesting how Jaime WRIGHT always connects both of her timelines really well, and I just love that. And we see who the culprits are in both timelines. So obviously it can't be the same person because it's over 100 years. That's no spoiler. I mean, obviously it can't be. I don't know why I'm waving around a headband. Anyways, so yeah, so really, really intense. Definitely had the Souls of the Lost Lake feelings from her last book that she's written. She's like whipping these books out, like 2 a year. She's insane, okay? I'm just saying. Yeah, so intense. I really can't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. So this is very unspoilery because I can't tell you much about it. But if you like creepiness, if you like kind of like an atmospheric feel, pick this one up. Definitely be warned though that it does talk about spiritualism, but I'm glad Jaime Joe Wright went the route that's saying you should not get into this, and God is the only one who can help you. You shouldn't go to a medium to go for help. So I was grateful for that message in the book. Thank you, Jaime. All right, so yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. So just know that there is strange sounds and strange noises happening in this book. Strange goings on. Very creepy for the fall season. I mean, check out the cover. Like that's definitely like fall seasons to me, for sure. And definitely this cover honestly fits perfectly with the book. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this was my review. I'm sorry it was a little bit kind of not delving too much into the book because I don't want to spoil anything, because with mysteries and suspense, you kind of don't want to spoil anything. You really don't. So I'm just going to leave it kind of short and sweet. Well, not short and sweet, but short. And just leave it at that. And you can pick it up for yourselves if you want a kind of very atmospheric fall read. Okay, so I will see you all in the next video next week.